They have stalled reforms, held the economic growth story at ransom, held the entire country at ransom, but the Congress still won't relent. These are visuals in the national capital of youth Congress workers protesting against the government demanding resignation of Sushma Swaraj in connection with Lalit Gate. Trupti joins us live with more updates. Yes, Trupti. Trupti, can you hear me? I know there is a lot of noise behind you. I hope you can hear me. Can you take us through what's happening?
Well, you can see behind me the Indian Youth Congress workers protesting against the Bharatiya Janata Party, particularly asking or demanding the resignation of its three leaders, namely Sushma Swaraj, Vasundhara, Raje and Shivraj Chauhan over corruption charges. Remember, the Youth Congress has held several such protests since the monsoon session began, not just demanding the resignation of these three ministers, but also they protested outside Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan's residence, completely denouncing her decision to suspend 25 Congress MPs for constantly disrupting the proceedings in the House. They are here right now, about 200 of them, and what they say is it's a protest in a very Chanakya style, in the sense that there are a few Congress workers who are getting their heads shaved, and the hair will be sent to Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a box which says it is the DNA of the Indian youth. So they are here demanding that the BJP take action against its three leaders, and that because of the constant disruption in the House, of course, we saw a very turbulent and a largely unproductive session coming to an end today, and the Congress has vowed that they will continue, they will press for the resignation of these three ministers even after the session is over. And this is one such protest here. There's massive security, it's been barricaded. Initially they did plan to walk towards Parliament Gate, but of course they're all here doing a sit-in protest, raising slogans against the BJP and saying that it's high time that the BJP take action against these three leaders and set an example. They are saying that it is BJP which is responsible for the complete washout of the monsoon session, because it was very clear from the very beginning that the Congress party led by Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, along with several other parties, had made it very clear that they would want the resignation of these three ministers first, and only then will the discussions happen. So what these protesters have to say is that when it was very clear from the start, the BJP persisted. There was, when it came to these demands, did not relent. And that is why this session has seen a complete washout, and that the Congress should not be held responsible for the same. So they are all here trying to pressurize the BJP. They are saying that they will continue with the protest. This is just one of the several protests that we will be seeing in the coming few days, and that they will continue to press for demands of these three, of the resignation of these three leaders. Back to you.
Well, Trupti, and who is leading these protests? But what also stands out is that the Congress party is held solely responsible for disrupting and stalling the reforms process. It's also hurting the people of the country. It's stalling economic growth. And hasn't the Congress party taken cognizance of the 15,000 plus online petitions that have come in from the corporate world? The who's who of corporate India is unhappy with what's happening in Parliament.
Definitely, as the BJP said that their protest was something without a cause. Yesterday we saw a very stern reply by both Arun Jaitley as well as Sushma Swaraj, who was defending herself, saying that she has done nothing wrong, and Arun Jaitley making it very clear that the BJP in no way will seek Sushma Swaraj's resignation over the Lalit Gate issue. So the BJP is very clear from their end, saying that these protests, these disruptions by the Congress party and the several other parties in the opposition was something without a cause. They did not provide a real substance to their protest, and that it was something that completely led to a washout of this session. Important bills like the GST bill was to be signed. Remember, the industrialists had even come out with a petition saying that the bill needs to be passed because it is something very crucial for the economy. Industrialists urging that the politicians should keep politics away from from the economy of the country. So basically, yes, everyone blaming each other. Congress saying that the BJP is responsible for either working or the disruption, and that because it has been a complete washout, it is responsible. The BJP in turn blaming the opposition parties led by Congress, because remember, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi were leading this protest, and they got support from several other important parties like the TMC, JDU and the left, who stuck to their stand that they would want resignations first, and only will they allow discussions to happen. So we did not see any discussion, only constant disruptions, sloganeering, shouting, and personal blame game, very personal attacks happening. We even saw Sonia Gandhi entering the well of the House, which has again not happened in the past and which BJP has highly criticized her for. So we saw a lot of things that we haven't seen before. We saw even the Congress youth workers protesting outside the Speaker's residence, which has again not happened in the past. So this particular session has, in a way, led to several new things that have happened. It has really, I don't know, as the BJP says, that it has taken the session to a new low, the way Parliament has functioned this particular session. So yes, after all this, after the turbulent and the, unproductive session that has happened now, Congress, BJP is hoping that they will call a special session and get some of the important.
Trupti, have you been able to speak to any of the Congress leaders?
The Congress is very clear that they will continue to step up pressure and demand the resignation of their leaders.
Have you been able to speak to any of the Congress leaders around there, especially the youth Congress leaders, and are they ready to compromise the country's growth? Are they ready to hurt the country economically just to score a few political brownies? Because the Congress party today does not have the confidence of the people of the country because of what they were not able to deliver in their 10 decades of rule with the UPA. And once again, what they are doing is they are hurting states, they are hurting manufacturing, they are hurting growth because they are not allowing the constitutional amendment on the GST bill to pass through. So because that's the starting step to a lot of stories which are important it's going to create a ripple effect or a domino effect for the economic growth process to start happening, manufacturing to start happening. They already blocked the land bill ordinance. Trupti, can you hear me? We stay in with these visuals and we'll try and get in touch with Trupti Rani Mehta. She's down on ground as Youth Congress workers continue to protest right out there at Parliament Gate, and they are still continuing to demand. They're protesting against the government, continuing to demand the resignations of Sushma Swaraj, Vasundhara, Raje and Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister. But what stands out at this point is that there has been no business that's been transacted in Parliament, which is of significance, which is going to help the country's growth story. And be it government or opposition, all parties are responsible and accountable to the constituencies they have been elected from, to the voters who have reposed confidence that they would work in the better interest of the people of the country, starting from their constituency, going up to the states, to the country nationally. And overall, what stands out at this point is that it is this political adamance on either side and this deadlock that we've seen throughout this monsoon session of Parliament that's been washed out altogether, that stands out, and that is actually hurting the country more than anything else.